else wrote, it's kind of like when I found out that people stand up to wipe. Is that not normal? Are people just like touching their hands to toilets all the time to wipe their like what? Do people not stand up to wipe their Am I alone in this? You stand up? Of course I stand up. I don't want my hand to like touch the toilet seat. What do you mean? You stand? Of course I stand up. What do you mean? Like maybe not like a full stand up, but like I sit up off the toilet seat. I'll like lean forward and be in like a sort of squatting position, right? You've never touched your hand to the toilet while wiping and you don't stand? I don't want to risk it, you know? Especially if like I have to use a public restroom in an emergency. I'm not gonna like stick my hand like underneath my butt and risk touching any part of the toilet. That's just not gonna happen. You lift yourself up a few inches, you wouldn't call it standing? I mean, yeah, maybe standing is a bit like harsh of a word because you're not like completely vertical, right? But like you lean off the toilet seat. So like you're on your feet, even if it's like a sort of squat. You slip your hand under your crotch and wipe, you stand up, you just smear shit all over your cheeks, and you're gonna wash your hands immediately after. Yeah, you always wash your hands. I've never smeared shit all over my cheeks, but maybe that's because I use the superior like wet wipes for my behind and my vagoober, right? I don't use regular toilet paper because that just ain't good enough, man. And since I don't have a bidet, you gotta use the wet wipies, all right? Who cares if you touch the toilet? You're gonna wash your hands. I care! I don't care if I wash my hands, right? I don't want my hands to touch the toilet. That's like when I found out about the people that like don't use wipes or toilet paper at all. They just have a bowl and they get their hand wet and then they wipe their poopy ass crack with their bare hand because they just wash their hands after. And it's like, yeah, sure, I guess that works, right? And like when you're changing a baby's diaper, you might get poop on your hand and then you go wash your hands after and everything's fine. But I'd prefer to not get poop on my hand if I can help it. That's so Indian. Actually, it was someone from the Philippines who told me about this. Poop water bowl is a new one. Stop this immediately. Global South behavior. Chat, when you buy a house, do you replace the toilets? When you buy a house, do you get rid of the toilets that the old homeowners used and you buy new ones? Is that a thing? Because like part of me feels like I should buy new toilets, even if it's expensive, because like I want the toilet to be mine. I don't want to sit on like somebody else's years-long used toilet, right? Am I crazy? Am I weird here? I was like, I don't know. Regardless of my weight fluctuations over the years, I've always like leaned forward off the toilet, as it were. So when I was like a super fit, muscular person, and then when I had like a little bit of tummy flub, either way, I leaned up off the toilet. You just got a new seat, woman. I mean, I guess it's true. I guess you could just get a new seat. I guess that's true. You could just buy a new toilet seat. That makes a lot more sense. Oh, that makes a lot more sense, man. You'd only replace the toilet if it were round instead of oval. I don't have a problem with round or oval toilet seats. I think those are completely fine. One of the houses I was looking at, unironically, had a urinal installed in their bathroom. I was like, I've never seen a urinal in like a home before. Replacing an entire toilet is almost mental. Oh, look, man, I'm like really weird about toilets, all right? I don't, like, even when I go to a friend's house, I don't like putting my ass on their toilet seat. I have to like psych myself up. I have to be like, okay, look, like this isn't public. This is like a friend, and like they're probably not diseased. Everything is probably fine. And like even if they were, it's just a toilet seat, right? Like you don't have to be worried about sitting on it. It'll be fine. Everything will be okay. Like your butt will be completely fine. Don't worry about it. And so like the first like 3 or 4 times I use a friend's toilet, I sort of like sit down really daintily and like try to put as little of my weight on it as possible because I just don't like touching it. And like it makes me feel like really unhappy. This is why you take a box of wipes everywhere. Poop anxiety. It's not even poop. I have to sit to pee. I'm a woman. Oval versus round seats are more for a man's issue. Sometimes when you gotta sit, you don't want to have your piss on the floor. Round seats make that pretty hard to avoid. I guess that's fair. If I don't like touching the toilet seats, I figure if I had a piss and I had to sit on a round one, there'd be like less space in the front. And so you'd have to like push your flaccid piss down a bit to make sure it doesn't like pee under the seat and get all over the floor. I can feel that. I understand. Your poor future husband. Look, man, the only time I would ever say anything is if he flushed the fucking toilet with the seat up. You have no idea how mental that drives me. Like, don't be a monkey. You're not a animal. We don't live in a zoo. Put the seat down. Do not get poop particles all over our bathroom. Next time I catch you doing that, I'm gonna wash the toilet with your toothbrush, you absolute baboon. I just spit everywhere. I'm so mad. The VTubers and talking about weird bathroom habits. Name a better combination. I don't think leaning off the toilet seat to wipe yourself is weird behavior. I think that's normal behavior. If you just like basically gave birth in that toilet from the Taco Bell you had earlier in the day, you want to like double check and make sure it's all gone, right? You want to make sure there's no like aborted material left in the toilet. It's like you close it, you flush, and then after a minute or so, you open it again and you check. You know, like, it's simple. These people never heard of water splashing around? Yeah, there's plenty of videos showing you the like splash out if you flush the toilet with the seat open. If you flush the toilet with the seat open, chat, I'm sorry. You are subhuman filth. Your human rights have been revoked until you learn to flush with the seat down. But Foxy, we like seeing the poop go round and down the drain. Stop it! Get some help! Actually, putting the lid down makes the poop particles much worse. It pressurizes the content and pushes them out under the edges of the lid with force. That's not true, Proctor. Stop lying. I've had to pull up videos of this multiple times on stream because people try to push that misinformation in the chat. Putting the seat down is the way you should be flushing. But, like, I guess you live in England, so it makes sense. You just want to be covered in poop particles. Oh my god. It's poop and parcel of living in London. True. True and real. Oh my god, there's no way it's that big of a deal. It is! Especially if you, like, keep your teeth brushes and your hair brushes and shit in the bathroom. I don't want that shit. I don't want that shit on my stuff. Stephen Ortiz, thank you for the 20. Vix, the Sun Eater VTuber, had a Japanese toilet installed in her home only to end up with water leaking through the pipes in a cold Canadian winter. Huh. I wonder if that's, like, a consequence of having a Japanese toilet or a consequence of having a bad plumber install it. I wonder. Consequences of having a plumber. The flat toilets are actually great because you never have to worry about water splashing up when you, or you're touching the water. I mean, well, I already have to never worry about my touching the water because I don't have a. I feel like, right, like most of the time I would be against any sort of like vulva surgery to like make them smaller, right? Because like you don't have to do that. But I feel like if your pussy lips are long enough to drag in the toilet, you might actually want to consider that surgery. Not for aesthetic reasons, but just for health reasons in general. Balls dipping in the water too sucks. Having big testicles makes it a fear when you have to sit. If you have to poop but you don't have to pee, could you just like put your hands under your balls and lift your whole kit and caboodle up and then sit with like your dick resting against your stomach and then just poo while you hold your dick? Is that something you can do? Or do you always have to hold your dick? Or do you always have to pee when you poo? Is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know how that works. There is no pooping without peeing. Oh no. Oh no, not like this. Can you tie it in a knot? Your body tends to flush both when you have to do a number 2, even if your bladder isn't full. Interesting. Interesting. Bro, I hate it when my dick touches the water and you flush and it gets caught in the water and the gator in the sewer sees it and he's like, bro, I can see your ding-a-ling, knock it off. Look at this guy fucking humble bragging. Kind of hard not to pee and poo at the same time. Interesting. Interesting. Women can poop without peeing. I mean, yeah, I've done that before. England literally invented the toilet? What are you talking about?
Goofy!